Okay, you ready? All right, Dad, let's do this.
Let's do it.
And is it Q&A with Offset and Cousin?
Yeah.
Or is it Q's Corner?
It's Q's Corner.
No, which one is it?
I say it's Q's Corner.
We can't even come to an agreement
Yes,
on
we
the
can.
name.
And that's part of the reason why we're having this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Because there's a difference between a father and a daughter.
Who's a Gen X and a millennial.
True. Very true. Which should tell you a whole lot. My name is Qasim Sattar. This is my offspring / ski in the backseat daughter, Aseti Wali, which I love very dearly. But we thought about having a podcast, a father-daughter podcast, because...
Can we cut? Because Offset's not my name, and I don't want to misconstrue anything.
Good, that's better put you on the map.
Oh.
That's what Daddy called you, Aseti. And the reason why I call her Aseti is because I have no hand in naming my own daughter, but that's a whole other segment. Anyway,
You've had a little bit too much to drink today.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've been having this dream of a father and daughter podcast because I think there's a lot of information that can be covered from a father and daughter, especially African American father and daughter. We have different views on life. We can come together and agree on a lot of things, but you know, just because I'm a Gen X, I don't think I know everything. So I asked my daughter about some things. We bounce ideas off each other. And, you know, we seem to get along a lot better now than we first did when I first met her because she was totally out of control.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you guys. As my father said in a nutshell, this is really just an open dialogue for fathers, daughters, really for an open conversation for, you know, our community. But it's really open to anybody, but we don't see enough representation for us when it comes to having those difficult conversations, those bridging the gap, like I like to say, between a father and daughter, mother and son, whatever the case may be. So this is the platform where we'll talk about those difficult conversations or really...
Or needed conversations too. Difficult / needed. No, I like that. We can feed off each other like that. That's how we do it. Feed off each other.
Yes. So the topic that we want to really build the basis of our podcast on is self-awareness. Mr. Sattar?
Yes, self-awareness is something I thought about being the beginning of a good platform foundation for anything, because once you understand and know yourself and to be open and honest with yourself is when you're very open to learn.
Okay, wait, let's back up here, Sattar. What is self-awareness?
Self-awareness, I think it has different levels, but self-awareness is when you are aware of yourself, your flaws, do's and don'ts, things you need to work on, things that that you might be good at, things that you might need to be aware of that people might tell you that you might be lacking in, but just being open with yourself and being able to learn, to grow. And because I think you're always growing, but the big thing for me for self-awareness is something that you have to know about yourself and be comfortable with yourself to know that you don't know everything, but you should be open to learn, no matter how old you are.
I think I'm pretty self-aware. Back in my day, wasn't too long ago, but back in my day, there were a lot of hips and dips, so a lot of road bumps and experiences that really molded and shaped me into who I am today. So from jumping on top of people's cars, from hoot rodding, as my dad likes to say, or...
What about when you were younger? What are some of the stuff when you was young that you can remember that helped shape you to right now? What stands out?
This is probably gonna sound bad, but my most traumatic experiences when I was young probably stand out the most when it came to like self-awareness.
Are you okay with discussing that or talking about that? Are you in a good position now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a good position now to talk about it.
Okay.
One example that I will share in another segment is me actually getting pregnant at an early age. So I had a child when I was, fresh out of high school, graduated, and I ended up actually losing my child, and you guys will probably hear me reference this multiple times just because that experience alone really changed me, like first for the worse, but then over time, you know, with therapy and everything, for the better. That taught me, you know, having a child that young, I didn't know what the heck I was doing whatsoever. I thought I knew everything. I thought I even knew better than my mother, who at this time I already had 37 kids and counting. AKA his baby mama.
I think they knew that, but okay. What are some of the things you would give to your mom, though? What are some things that your mom told you that you didn't listen to then, but now it makes more sense to you now? But give everybody a point of reference, like how old were you when you were pregnant, when you had your child?
I was 18, turned 18.
Just turned 18, okay. Okay.
You know, during that time, at least like to be a little bit more specific and staying like on that subject, something that she had told me like during that time is that it's going to be okay. And
she said no matter what, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, no matter what, it's going to be okay. And I think she really said that because she too had experienced child loss, and so she knew how difficult that could be, but no parent wants to see their child have to go through such a loss like that.
But I like when you said she told you it's going to be okay. I mean,
she told me it's going to be okay. Even like during like the darkest time, there is no way. I was like, no, you're full of piss and bananas, like to think that this is going to be okay. Like my whole world is just shattered. But
because it was. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was at that time. Your world is shattered, of course, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, you didn't understand what she was saying. You know, you're just trying to take minute by minute, day by day.
But that's just one of the experiences that kind of made me self-aware of, like, I don't know everything like I used to. I thinking I was grown and fast, you know, as we like to say in the Black community, get away from that fast-tailed girl, or hot in the pants, hot in the ass. Can we say that on here? Well, we can't
say whatever.
Oh, we can?
Yeah. Was you hot? Would you consider yourself hot pants? Was you hot in pants? Or?
No.
Okay.
Here I am lying. Yeah, I was a little. But it's okay, just a little bit. Not, I was like,
you wasn't really, you was warm.
I was medium. I was
warm in the pants.
Warm, medium.
Warm in the pants, okay.
Medium. Not like hot and ready like a Little Caesars pizza, not like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you admit it, and that's the first point of reference to getting better. That you wasn't hot, but you was
No, but seriously, look, I did have, and that brings me to another good example that's actually a little bit more relevant to today. So, after I lost my child, I joined the military. My father actually.
What branch?
The Air Force. Oh. I joined the Air Force and became a cop, security forces. And it was all because of my dad, you know, kind of speaking some life back into me. And after joining the military, I did what every teacher, cadre said not to do: get married. Yeah. I decided to get married, and that situation, it came and went. But after that, I would say I was like 24 years old, still rather young. I learned, like, I'm not as patient as I thought I was. I didn't know how to speak to men, how to respect them and their authority. I didn't know. There were just like a lot of things about myself, because I actually overheard him say that to a friend of ours when he was cutting like his hair. And it actually, like, I heard him at the top of the stairs. It made me, my ex-husband.
What did he actually say?
He said, it's like a ticking time bomb. I never know when she's going to go off. Let me tell you, I was ready, like.
That's what your ex-husband said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
And what did you think about that?
At first, it made me feel sad. That's when I bring like that self-awareness. It was like, dang, like, I don't want him to be afraid of me or think I'm a ticking time bomb. Like,
I know that's right.
So.
No, I mean,
no, seriously.
Hold on for a second. I mean, so in all essence, he felt like he didn't know what to say to you, when to say to you, because
I was about to.
You was gonna go off.
Like on top of the car, go off.
Wow. And how do you, all jokes aside, how do you really feel about that right now?
Now, I'm very accepting of it. At first, I wasn't, because I'm like, no, like, I don't have a temper. I don't have anger issues. That's not me. Like, of course, if you get on my bad side, you do something to me, you disrespect me. I don't do disrespect. You disrespect me, I'm putting hands and feet on you. Simple and plain.
Hands and feet. Like a little monkey. Like,
Oh my God.
no, keep going. No. Your
seriously.
hands and feet. I know the hands, but what about the feet part? You'll kick them.
Touching every wall in this house, as Shatia would say. Touching every wall. No, but seriously, like, I wasn't really accepting of it at first, but as time went on and, relationships happen, I actually thought back on those words, like, dang, like, maybe I actually don't know how to control my emotions as best I did. Maybe I don't have that patience. Maybe I don't know how to speak to men. And so
Did you feel you got anger in you? Did you feel like you had some kind of anger in you from that? Like,
not from that, but probably from deep childhood and how we used to communicate in my household growing up. Yeah, so that.
It was okay then. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, knock if you butt, crime mob type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand. It was the same way growing up. We don't realize that growing up is different because that's our culture. We have cultures inside of the cultures, and I mean, I was the same way with growing up in my house. Cursing was not
It wasn't
normal.
that bad. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even call my mom the first couple of years. I remember calling her by her first name because I grew up with my mother damn near. So, and my grandmother didn't even want us to call her granny. She wanted us to call her by her name. So, what could seem confusing was so normal.
How did that make you feel? Like, did you ever hear like your peers call their mom's mom, and then you were calling your mom by her first name?
Yeah, I started calling mom like maybe first grade. I think my first grade.
Did you ever ask them why?
No,
you just did.
Just go with the flow. Just saw it. Just go with the flow. Kids, you don't know to ask. You don't know to ask those questions because there's nothing to ask about. It's not abnormal. As you get older, you realize, man, that's so crazy. But everybody was trying to feel their way. And my mom was very, very, very young, so she's a teenager, so she was trying to feel her way as well too. So I get it. Those little things that we grew up with that help us make us to who we are right now, and that's part of being aware that the way we grew up, what we can take from that, and to make us better as adults, and be willing to learn.
You know what? Actually, this brings up a good point. So you said something earlier when I asked about the definition for self-awareness.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. I'm actually gonna look it up and see.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
So you had said the words. Cotton hell. What was it? I believe being accepting of change. Accepting of change and to grow. Knowing that a lot of the audience, people watching, they don't know, but this man right here honorably served 22 years in the United States Army, and yeah, he did it honorably. So he has had to go through a lot of forming, a lot of stuff in general. And if you are a military veteran, I salute you and I appreciate your service. But your blind spots, that's what it was. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
So with you being in the military, and maybe some people who are veterans could relate to this as well, we're just told to do as we say. Do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
So
do as you're told.
Yeah, do as you're told.
Yeah.
So when you and I have conversations, or when I bring things to your attention about, you do this, or hey, you do this, you need to stop, or hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable, whatever the case may be, how does that make you feel? Are you accepting of that? Or
if it's coming from
it's coming from
you telling me that?
Yeah,
I'm accepting of it because now I understand the importance of it. Because growing up when I grew up, I don't know if I'm sure some of the audience has. At one point in time, growing up in the 70s, probably 80s, parents, the culture was kids should be seen and not heard. That was not thinking about that now. That is so horrible. Literally, kids should be seen and not heard. That's right.
That's all in our
kids should be seen and not heard. And as I became a parent, that is so unacceptable. That's so horrible. But
why is that so horrible?
Because you want your kids to tell you what's going on. The first, the kids get older and you make them feel like they can't talk to you. You don't know if they've been abused physically, verbally, mentally, emotionally, some going to school. Basically what you're telling them is deal with it. You know, that's, you know, as a child, you tell a child this, you're not saying, hey, it's okay for you to come and tell me what's going on. You should be seen, not heard. And when a child hears that, they're like, man, my mom, dad don't want to hear that. They're gonna make sure I'm here, I'm alive, I'm breathing, and that's it.
Okay, so then how do you feel about the stay in a child's place? Is that like hand in hand with a child to be seen?
I think no.
Oh.
I would never tell a person, I would never advise a person to raise their kids, child should be seen out here. I would never advise that because...
No, a child is to stay in a child's place.
Well, a child's place means there are certain things that a child should be doing versus not as an adult or even a young teenager or a child. Certain things like listening to your parents, listening at school, you know, making sure you're doing the right thing, the basic stuff. Listening to your parents, you know, your guidance, your mentors, the people who's trying to take care of you, a child's place. You know, respect. I think that aspect is respect. But I want to really read this off really quick because actually, we talk about self-awareness. It's really short. It says it's a noun, conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, desires. The process can be painful, but leads to a greater self-awareness. And then
self-awareness has has the word self-awareness in its definition.
Yeah, which basically tells me that there is no absolute. It's just basically self-awareness about yourself. But then it goes on further. It says self-awareness is the knowledge of three basic areas of the self: cognitive, physical, and emotional. And you take those three things alone: cognitive, physical, and emotional. Those are three very important things. You know, people may not understand what cognitive means, but cognitive means how you think, how you actually think at that point in time in your life. You know, just basic psychology tells you that even the male's brain doesn't finish developing until about 25, 26, maybe 27. Females 24. So cognitively, your self-awareness is limited until you probably get to be maybe 30 years old as a male, 27, 28 as a female.
Oh, so you would say that I am pretty self-aware.
I say you're getting there.
Oh.
Physical awareness of your physical abilities, you know, physical attributes.
Why am I just getting there? I'm just curious.
Because you're just 27.
I'm about to be 28.
About to be.
Yeah, but I've been 27 for like a really long time, so like I'm
almost like you'd say like a year. Really long time, huh? Okay, so you're getting there. Yeah, you're getting there. There's got the physical and then emotional. Emotions is something that drives us in a way to where we haven't been. A lot of us don't feel like it's okay to talk about our emotions. And
I grew up in a household.
Me too, and I think that's a stigma that holds a lot of people back, holds us back.
Ooh.
I know me as a man holds men back. So, how are we doing on time?
Oh, good. Hey, you don't say that in the middle. I got this.
I'm going to cut it out.
So,
okay.
No, growing up in a household, I think that's actually a very common stigma within the Black community.
I think so.
It's a very common stigma within the Black community of not expressing our emotions, especially for a male, because if you share or express any kind of emotion, especially in the military, you're viewed as weak. You're viewed as very vulnerable or easy target, whereas really expressing those emotions and being vulnerable is probably the most courageous and, to me, the greatest thing I think a man can do. So what can we do?
Helps you grow.
It does. Because no woman, at least, who is, self-aware and is continuously trying to improve herself, wants to deal with a shut-off man who's like, you know what, I'm gonna tough man through this, and I'm not gonna express this, to anyone, but holds it in. No one wants to really deal with that. So how would you suggest that we get our youth, our Black brothers and sisters,
youth or men, or just men? Youth or men, period, of all ages.
Men, period.
Start talking about it and making.
How do we normalize it though?
You just talk. You just have a conversation about it. Making people understand that it's okay to talk about your emotions, and whoever they're talking to them about, make sure they trust them enough for that person not to throw it back in their damn face, because that's what a lot of people do.
Is that why
they use it against them? I lived it. I've done it. I mean, I felt it. done to me. I won't say by who, but
No, let's put them out there. This is the red table.
I ain't gonna put that person out there because I won't.
And if you did that to my daddy, you got.
No, I want to
I
make
got
sure.
something for you.
I think it's everybody that kind of may do that if you trust
My
a
mom
person.
didn't.
But no, your mom didn't do that. But she did a lot of other things. But anyway, she didn't do that. But I tell you, one of the worst things for a man is to not feel comfortable about sharing their
Emotions.
Yeah, sharing their emotions. A lot of people don't realize the importance of doing that, and it eats them up alive. And they have those outlets, whether it be drinking, smoking, risky behavior. I can't tell you how many veteran friends I have in the gym to where that's their therapy. The gym is their therapy session, literally. That's why they stay for hours, because they feel like they getting something accomplished. They get to talking to other people, and I can, some guy I've literally seen some guys in the gym hold full-on out conversations while they have a machine because they go through the same thing at their house or whatever the case may be. So it's being done.
They're going through this with their partners.
Work, not only partner, it could be work, partners. A lot of times it's with the partners, but I'm just saying it could be anywhere where a man feels demasculated or a man doesn't feel like they are human enough to feel like they can share that type of stuff. And I will tell you that hurts a lot of men of color. I can only speak with men of color, but when I say men of color, I'm not just talking about black. I mean black, Hispanic. I mean, just minorities. That hurts a lot of minorities.
Now, as someone who, I joke around, and we joke around all the time, I'm pretty goofy, but I really do take, mental health, physical well-being, just like an overall well-being, very serious now, knowing what I've been through and what I've seen, my peers go through. How would you suggest someone like myself, who grew up, in a household who wasn't allowed to express emotion, who at one point in time didn't know how to speak to a man, let's just say a colored man. Oh God, that sounds so awful, actually saying. Anyway, to speak to a man, have a healthy conversation and communicate those healthy boundaries and expectations, whatever the case may be. How would you suggest someone like myself approach or make a man feel comfortable and safe enough to open up?
First of all, what we're doing right now, talking about it. Being aware that it exists. The one thing I hate hearing, and I don't care who says it, is always, you mostly hear, be a real man and do this, be a real man and do that.
Be a real man and open the door.
I never understood what a real man is because I don't know what a fake man is. I don't understand what that means, honestly. And normally, a lot of times, it comes from a female. So, they saying be a real man, and that right there, you got a person who can't express themselves, and you got someone else that they trust and love and care about, telling them to be a real man. What you're doing is you're creating a time bomb. You could be creating a time bomb within that person and make that person not like you. And I won't tell you the difference between like and love. You can love someone but not like them. It might take a long time, people figure that out, but you can love someone but not like them. And the difference is, you got kids, whatever, your family members, mom, dad, could be your wife. You can love them, but you might not like being around them.
So how do you?
And that comes out.
How do you stay in a relationship with someone that you love but you don't like them?
I would tell someone to either try to fix it, go to counseling, be aware of it. Both parties have to be intentional about getting it fixed. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm laid down on the sword saying this. If one person's intentional and the other person is not about fixing something like that, it's not going to work. You're gonna walk away. Somebody's gonna walk away bitter, upset, outdone. Both parties. I always say this in the classes I teach. How important is this relationship to you? You want to fix bridges instead of burn them up. If this relationship is important to you, then you will do what you need to do to make sure that you fix that relationship. If it's not important to you, I'm just going to tell you this, you're not going to do what it takes to fix that relationship because it's not important. You're going to do whatever you need to do for what's important to you.
Wow.
I don't care what it is. If your car is important to you, you're gonna make sure your car is maintained, is running well. If your body's important to you, you're gonna make sure you take care of your body. If something's important to a person, you know, they're gonna make sure it's fixed. They're gonna make sure they don't get to do the work for it. So if every relationship is not important,
They're not gonna do the work.
they're not gonna put the work in. So you gotta establish that first, and it's scary. It's very scary.
Have you yourself experienced, you know, loving someone but not liking them?
Yep.
Oh, you answered a little too
I
quick.
sure did.
Oh, okay.
I did. I love someone, but you don't like being around them. And I hate.
How long?
I
But
hate
was that something that was initial, or is that just something that happened over time?
over time?
Over time. And then, what did you do to cope with not liking that person? Staying in the gym, staying at work. What did you do?
Put up boundaries, distance yourself, throw up walls.
Throw up walls, which hurts that self-awareness and that open communication.
It does. Which is why I'm here right now. I'm trying to put it out there that it's okay. It's okay to feel a certain way, but you know, you can love someone from afar. You can, you know, some family, even your closest family members, can be, you love them, but you don't like them. You know, you're there for them when you need them. You know, when they need you, but you might not like being around them. And the time and effort it takes for you to put something in them to understand something could just be overwhelming. And your cup might be too full at that time, so you ain't got time to do all that. So yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Sitar. I really appreciate you bringing our first Q's Corner featuring Osset, not Ossetti.
Ossetti.
Oh my goodness. To life. As I told you before, I believe in your vision and I'm happy to be a part of it. We are definitely going to get tussling. We're going to have some special guests here on this podcast, ranging from Jada Pinkett Smith,
Jada Pinkett. Oh, she ain't coming over here.
my mother, aka the baby mama,
Yep.
and various really people who are truly trying to better themselves in with like communicating, mending relationships. We want this to be an open and safe space for everyone. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll chat later.